safely to their families, and we are also confident that the Iraqi people and their armed forces, police, are in a position now to take care of their own security.
You're happy to see the American troops going home, and that's because most Iraqis don't actually trust them, didn't actually get on with them that well.
Well, I wouldn't say most Iraqis, but there has been different opinions in Iraq as to the role that they have played in Iraq. I think most Iraqis would remember the hardships under the previous regime and the fact that they could not get rid of the dictator without help from outside, and specifically from the American forces. But the conduct of some of these forces after the fall of the regime have not been what the Iraqi expected, and that's why there have been a mixed feeling among the population. But now the country is almost unanimous, I would say, that they should be respectfully returning home, and Iraq should move into a new era of cooperation with the United States in all economic, cultural, political fields.
Sorry to interrupt you, but surely the lesson of this last year of all years is that you don't have to lose 4,500 American lives, you don't have to lose tens of thousands of Arab lives in order to change a government, which is what has happened in the last 8.5 years. Look at Libya, look at Tunisia, look at Egypt. There is another way, there was another way.
No, this is true, and as a matter of fact, I personally have been on record just before the invasion of Iraq that the best way of changing